What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's show, the How to Hack Your Life episode 3. So, I was super excited to share this one, so I didn't want to wait for the next week. And today, we're going to talk about how to read a book a day. So, first, disclaimer, I haven't actually done this yet. And the reason so is because I haven't been invested in reading. Sorry about that. I haven't been invested in reading, that much, but soon, very soon, less than 2 weeks, 2 months, so less than 60 days. That's how soon I'm gonna start reading a book a day. So how do you do that? How do you read a book a day? You need two things. One, the book, physical book. Second, the audio version of this book. So I almost did this once. So I got a 350 page book, and I also got an audio book as well. And I downloaded the audio version, put it on the times two, plugged the earbuds, and then I played. And while I was listening to the audio version playing the 2 times speed, I was also, you know, repeating the words, aka reading really fast. So I was able to read, you know, if I was sitting for 6.5 hours straight, I would be able to finish 350 page book in one sitting. But I wasn't able to sit for 6.5 hours and read every single page of the book, and just sitting for 6.5 hours a problem for me, let alone absorbing all the information. And it's not just important that you read a book, it's also important that you memorize, and also the most important that you start implementing. So it's gonna take a while. And fun fact, all the audio, however you call that software that Amazon bought, now has the 3x feature. So that means it's gonna take you less than 4 hours for that book. But that's 350 pages book. Usually, a book has between 150 and 200. Like, these new books have a lot of pages because that's how you make money. Like, everything you have on those books, like, I can write you 10-page summary. Will you pay me $20 for 10-page summary? No. But if I give you 200 pages book, then you will pay me $20 for a book. So, like, when you have that tricks feature and book has less than 200 pages, you will be able to do it in 2 hours of sitting. So of course, right now when you listen to this, you're like, Timo, are you crazy? There's no way I can do that. And to you, I say you're correct. Right now, there's no way you will even understand a single word on 3x. First time I played the 2x out loud for my parents, they were like, is this in Chinese? And I started laughing. And they asked me, like, why you listening to Chinese? I'm like, it's not Chinese, it's English in 2x. And they're like, there's no way you can remember a single thing from 2x. And then I paused and I told them, like, hey, if you want, you can go over there and listen to it, on the 1x version, and then, like, we'll compare notes who remembered more. And I was able to record more information than they were in the 1x. Why? Because I worked up to it. So first I was reading 125, listening 125, then 150, and then sadly there's no 175, so I had to jump to 2x. And 2x is crazy, but I do it almost every single day. And then when I go to Belgrade and back, it means 6 hours. That's my finger over here. 6 hours of me listening to podcast on 2x. That means if I was listening to audio book instead of podcast, I would be reading a book per week. A book a day, not a week. Right now I'm doing about book a week, but I want to do it a book a day. Why? Because knowledge, baby, knowledge. So that's my goal for for third and fourth quarter of 2018, to read a book a day. I know it's gonna cost a lot of money, but it's better than gambling or going out for drink. Like, I can choose to go out for lunch and go out for dinner, or buy a physical book, an audio book. Do you know which one's gonna pay more? The books, of course. Like, in 2 weeks I'm not even gonna remember what I have eaten, but I will remember what I read. So yeah, it's a fun little thing. So and then when, like, I worked up to it, and now, seriously, I shit you not, sometimes I have to check is the podcast on 2x, because the talking feels normal, like feels like right now, like what I'm doing right now just feels normal. And sometimes when I listen to music, I'm like, this is too slow. Then I crank it up to 1.5. And then my brother is like, Timo, you're crazy. How can you listen to music on 1.5? I'm like, it's low for me now. Like, so that's how you read a book a day. You have a physical. So why do you need a physical? That's like the more important thing. Because you need to focus. And because audio, this eyes, not audio, visual eyes, it's more important than ears. Just to your brain, your eye is more important than your ear. Like, what you see is more important than what you hear. And by looking at the text, vocalizing, saying the words, aka reading, and hearing the same words, those are three things happening the same thing. Your brain is gonna be like, well, if three of my senses record the same thing, that probably that thing needs to be important. Pay attention to what's going on. And the other thing why you need the book is it's too fast for you and for me. And if I start thinking about something else, if I'm not 100% focused, it's just gonna go by, and I'm not gonna be able to come back and catch the thought of the author and everything else. It's just start over and over, because you're not gonna be able to understand what's going on. You're not gonna be able to catch what's going on. So that's why you need the book, the physical version of the book, so you can focus on it and so you can remember it better. Focus, remember, learn, understand, implement. And why? Like, I know a tactic. It's called power reading. It's different than speed reading. It's called power reading, and then you can go through a book 3 times in 15 minutes. And yes, that's a valuable tactic. You should have for that tactic I pay $67, and I think it's worth even more than that, to be able to go through book 3 times in 15 minutes or less. But I feel like I need to read the whole book word for word, and then just using that power reading technique, I feel like I'm cheating, like that's why I don't do it. I use some of the parts, the psychology parts, how to check which book you should be reading, which one well, that's not the psychology part. Like the how they say, like the hierarchy, the bias. You know, like when somebody is on social hierarchy at top of you, you respect them more, and when come in. Desale, pizdati materina. Što si u video? Do you have something to say about reading books? Do you think you can read a book a day if you learn this tactic we talked about in this video? So let me recap that for you. So what you do, number one, is you get the book version. Number two, you get the audio version. Then you play the audio version at 2x time, and then you follow the physical book, and then in 6 or 7 hours you'll be able to read a book. And that's how you read a book a day. So what do you have to say about that?
I almost read the book today.
Almost.
Almost.
Was it this big?
A bit smaller.
A bit smaller than that. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.